What's up, gamers? It's Nova, your favorite virtual adventurer, and welcome back to A Splash Of, a series where I share my feelings about the games I finish on stream. Today, I'm going to be talking about Resident Evil 2, the original one for the PlayStation, and how it stacks up to the first game. This is the second game on my BioSaga, a multi-year adventure where I go through every Resident Evil game in release order, completely blind. And oh my god, I have things I need to say about this game. So first of all, this game is everything a sequel needed to be. They improved movement, they improved the controls, the combat, the lore implications were fantastic. We learned more about the T-Virus outbreak, we learned more about STARS members who are not present in the game, but through Claire we learn more about her brother Chris. We meet Leon for the first time, we meet Ada for the first time. We learn about the G-Virus, which I'm not 100% sure I understand yet, but I'm sure we'll get there eventually. It's like Resident Evil 1 was an introduction to a concept. Resident Evil 2 is an introduction to a franchise. Where the first game was, oh, here's an evil corporation and they're making bioweapons. Resident Evil 2 is, okay, but what are the implications of that? What is the overall impact of that? What does it mean for the greater world around them? And I eat that kind of shit up. I love that kind of stuff. I love when the lore expands and they do world building, and oh, I love it. Literally, it's like the game was saying, oh, you thought, and then threw you in the fucking police office, which, by the way, wonderfully built, wonderfully structured. It was like an improved version of Spencer Mansion. It felt like there was more depth and more variety to the rooms and the hallways here. We explored more areas as well, and it just felt more immersive, I guess is the way I want to put it. I felt like I was actually in the world of Resident Evil, like I was actually in Raccoon City and not just some isolated incident up in the mountains, you know? It's like the things that happen here actually matter. You literally start the game out in the city and have to run to the police department. You see the state of the city. You see it's in shambles. You see it's on fire. As you're playing the game, zombies will crash through the window and infest the police station even more. The game also introduced Mr. X, which was I believe, a tyrant of the T-Virus, which we were introduced to at the end of the first game. Super cool how that carried over. But Mr. X shows you what happens when Umbrella tries. If the zombie outbreak is an accidental side kind of, oops, we messed up, the virus got into the public, Mr. X is what happens when they try, and that's scary. It makes you really wonder, what the fuck is Umbrella up to? So I ended up playing Leon's campaign first, so I knew Mr. X was introduced in Resident Evil 2. I just didn't know when. So imagine my confusion when I roll credits and I didn't see him a single time. I'm like, okay, weird. I guess it's in Jill's playthrough. Now, before this, my only experience was Resident Evil 1, and Jill and Chris's playthroughs were pretty similar, so how different could this be? Oh boy, do I have things to share about this one. Mr. X was a menace. He would appear when you least wanted him to. You could just be walking down a hallway and suddenly, boom, through the wall, and you're like, God, fuck, no, and you have to immediately just adapt right at the moment. I remember there was one moment in particular that really got me. It actually made me laugh pretty hard. So I was going up to the third floor as Jill, and like right up there, and I was trying to get the gear in the like clock area, right? And I'm talking to my chat. I'm like, you know, it seems like Mr. X is primarily on the first and second floor, which makes sense. There's a lot more areas. There's a lot more room. And I'm looking at like the layout of the hallway I'm in. I don't think they would throw him here. I know at least I'm safe up here because there's no real easy way to dodge around him up here. I leave that fucking room, and what do I see but a cutscene of his hand grabbing the railing and tugging himself up. It was at that moment that I was like, I love this game. That's so funny. I was literally just saying I'm safe up here, and there he is. And don't get me started about Birkin. Birkin was a menace in his own right. We're seeing our first example of what the G-Virus is and what it does to the human body. Where the T-Virus seems to have a very specific, like, mutation, like this is what it does, the G-Virus just seems to keep evolving. I don't really know the implications of what that means or what that's going to look like in the future, but Birkin was a prime introduction to it. And I really liked how it was different encounters through Leon's and Claire's campaign. You know, I played through it as Leon, I ran into him a bunch of times, and it's like, oh, okay, he's evolving. Every time you run into him, it's like, is that still the same guy? Oh shit, he looks even more fucked up. But then you play through Jill's campaign, and you're like, oh, this is the same boss fight, but something feels wrong. Something feels different. That's not quite the same encounter I had last time. I liked that. I liked that it was like, you could see the evolutionary process of Birkin through the two side-by-side campaigns. That was really cool. Until the end, which was bullshit. The final train fight I went into with, I think I was on danger health and no healing, and I somehow clutched it. I had no way of saving that run beyond that point, so it was all or nothing. I would have lost so much progress because I was a one save file Andy at this point. I hadn't learned the ways of Resident Evil. So yeah, it was all or nothing, and I clutched it. I fucking dominated that shit, which was just such a cathartic experience. Finally getting rid of that menace after he evolved to this monstrous, grotesque state, it felt really good. That's going down in history as gaming moments I won't soon forget. There's a couple more side notes I feel are worth mentioning. The ink ribbon situation that I talked about in my first game wasn't as bad. They felt a little bit more widespread. You could find them easier. Most typewriters came with an ink ribbon in front of them, which was a really good addition. And they just felt less hidden. They were more frequent. I didn't feel like I had as much save pressure as I did in the first game. It was a good balance. This is also the game where I realized that giant spiders are friend-shaped. And if you're looking at me like I'm crazy, I mean, like, compared to the other zombies, compared to the hunters, compared to those assholes that cling to the ceiling in the electrical room, compared to Mr. X, the giant spiders, they just crawl on the wall, they crawl on the ceiling. You can just run past them. They very rarely pose a threat. So now every time I see a giant spider, I just go, oh, hey, it's a friend. And I just run right past them and they don't give me any trouble. So yeah, I guess giant spiders are friends now. I hope I won't regret saying that. Alligators, though? Maybe not friends. I fought a giant one in the sewer. Why? World will never know. So if Resident Evil 1 was my introduction to the series, Resident Evil 2 was the one that convinced me that I made the right idea. It's the one that convinced me this was a worthwhile endeavor, and that this BioSaga is going to be so much more fun than it has any right to be. The pacing, the setup, the environment, the characters, they were so lovable in this game. And if you want a good jumping on point for the series, I'd say this is a fantastic first game to start with. I can't wait to see what comes next. If the first two games are anything to go by, I'm looking forward to more puzzle box locations, some more slow pace, like inventory and strategy management, like combat where you have to really like sit and think about what you're about to do. Stars. You guys hear that? It's probably nothing. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day and be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I love you. Bye-bye.